13th meeting of the Board of Trustees of the Village Staff. I will start the meeting with a roll call. Susan Ainsley. Kathleen Yen. Here. Ronnie Hardaway is here. So, that taken care of.
Now that the, last meeting I told you that 1203 was done, and now the MS4 annual report is done, so the two I'm able to turn and not really catch up on fire inspections, but try to get myself back into the process of fire. The village code to find items that have been better worded, and then also I have some different ideas that I'd like to propose to the planning, so to add a little bit of clarity to some items. And like I said, I'm kind of working on changes. I want to add some definitions. Like I said, in the zoning section, it is confusing, especially when you're special permit, what doesn't. I want to make that a little clearer. So I got some things I'm going to be bringing up to the planning board. The possibility that East Point North will be sending in all of their pre-building, pre-construction. If you decide to approve the zoning change at the next meeting. So that's kind of building permits. Usually this time of year I start getting flooded with a lot of them. It doesn't seem to be that so much this year. It's possible, maybe I just spoke too soon. So we'll have to see. Anybody have any questions?
There is East Point Phase 2 now is East Point North.
North. They originally said East Point 2. So whatever they're going to call it, we'll see.
Well, I just wanted to clarify. I wanted to know what.
I'm not sure there's any. Northeast.
That's what I think.
Well,
I get it.
I'm sure.
So regarding the somebody, and he wanted to express his concerns about that. Concerns, he should wait for the planning board and show up in front of the planning board.
Yeah, I would imagine we're going to have a few people there from the local.
But it was not Michael Ball,
Yeah.
Another guy.
Yeah, I've had a meeting with him, and he has sent out, I think I sent it to you folks, he sent out a letter of the dog park and the paddleball court, so they were away from the residential area and
They already moved it.
more towards Boardwater, so they were pretty, so far. We'll see, but I expect to hear from a lot of people.
and you know what? I was thinking,
Kathleen, are you done with this?
without trespassing, that we could walk project.
As it's going on,
Bef-
if I had a job site like that, you would have to speak to whoever's running that site. It's a liability issue.
Yeah, see,
Yeah.
I wasn't trying.
It might be best if you want to get some people to walk the site, is
Well, I
to
think
let
it
me
would be
know.
helpful.
Let me know so that I can talk to, get permission around there, so just to really
Because in
liability
terms
issue.
of the tree law and it's, I mean, I have harkens back to real estate days, you know, just walking the property. I mean, Shannon Park is a perfect example. When that may look dry one day, but it rains. And it just, I was noticing.
Are you talking about walking it before the project
as
gets
part of- I mean, as a-
approved, or as it's being
Well,
processed?
whatever we ordinarily stormwater issues or wetlands issues or, does that happen?
There'll be a series. So I go on it with John or something like
Yeah.
that and take a look at how it pertains to, you know, what we deal with through the village. Site to make sure things are being done. So it's, if a member of the Board of Trustees or Planning Board, it's not unheard of if they wanted to walk a site or we did the same with the drug and alcohol center we
Okay.
had, and the same way with Cuba Medical, we had planning board members.
So when presented with calls from your constituents, like Wolfgang's call, you know, before they get all worried and upset and lack information.
Yeah, as far as,
Because
a project this side would tend to be 3-4 meetings at least by the time we get things down, maybe even more.
phase,
It was contentious.
yes, and I'm laying the groundwork to redo all parties. So it's just that, I wanted to throw that
What
out.
happened with phase one that was,
Certainly may.
tell me what year you're talking about.
2000, when did you come here, Mike? 2017? In the review at that time,
Okay,
and that caused a lot of complexity. It made it very difficult.
gotcha. I
Most of the
understand.
stormwater system was not looked over well enough.
I see. Okay.
Thank you, Mike. That is very true. Now it's all those little missing pieces of puzzle. At this point, now that we're looking at another,
Yeah, it made it a little difficult to retro back a little bit to get the situation.
and that's all I have to say.
Was that close?
Yeah, thanks.
Okay. Thanks, Mike. John?
Really not much to offer. Process for the most part.
John, why are you jinxing us? That is not nice.
Just being honest here. Looks time off. I'll be taking some more off the remainder of this month. That's gonna allow me, April and May to toughest process of this last month was just trying to get through the budget, obviously. And obviously this makes for some difficulties there. It's really all I have. I mean, the budget, I think, was probably gonna fill most of my. I need that red one sometime.
Okay, sorry.
I come in. Thanks.
You're welcome.
So you come around to the trustees.
Is this a budget questions?
No. I would go for it. Just because I wanted to talk to people,
Sure.
to get signatures, but mostly just to talk to people, and I got a bunch of, you know, some people had issues that they wanted me to do. Actually, no, he was home, he was on the computer, I didn't ring his bell. Okay, so, couple of things. Named Tom a couple of years ago about the signs on the curvy part of Keto Heights Road between a cheaper suggestion than, you know, they thought we could affordably do, which he said he really likes a European direction, arrow direction sign. We could put chevron signs really indicating how tricky that area is, because he rides his bike there.
Yeah, I'll look into it because there is.
Okay.
Sharper ones. I think there's a couple areas that probably would qualify for a couple.
Right.
And basically, or a hook sign with a suggested speed. And then when you get into the corner, you'll see the chevron signs to kind of, you know, give.
Let me ask a real brief question. Just, do the number of chevrons on the sign indicate the size or acuteness?
A lot of them, and it might
Right.
show sincerity.
Yeah.
The number of signs that go up are.
In that same area, he had concerns about brush growing. Grass coming down onto Keto Heights Road, left or right, sometimes in the high brush, like summer full foliage, maybe towards fall even, when it's been growing all. Sure. It's clear back.
We approach that trimming in that area with sense. And it owns a house, so we have a right of way by use on Keto Heights Road. So we don't have the right to go back, say 30 feet off. Demonstrated maintenance, so we'll go in there. It's the forsythias on the left if you come down Oak Crest, and there's a couple that were Shalane's house. So we're due for a prune there.
Okay, I'll mention that to him. One of the new moms was concerned. She said that her neighbor told her that there was going to be lights installed on the new path. And is that?
Beating our heads to get installed, the solar.
Oh, it's coming. She
One
said it
light.
was coming.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So
Yeah.
she's right. Urgent issues, which is flooding and fire. So John, I already mentioned to John that I have an elderly neighbor to my right whose property was completely driveway was ice, her garage, ice shut, and she couldn't go out her front door because she couldn't walk on her driveway, so. Maybe we can dig that trench.
We'll do a little ditching along the road, but I think a lot of it was the frozen,
Yeah, it was the weather this year.
yeah, it was, we never.
Been there as long as me, so at least 20 years, that for the first time her basement is flooded, and she now has to run a pump continually, and could we also dig?
Could be your river drains too.
She put in new ones. They're in.
Roadside ditches only generally take care of surface water. Slope towards the road, it conveys those yard water, that water too. If they're continuously running a pump now, it is a good sign that you have some underlying
They
issues
put in
there.
new foot, I see the new drains coming out of their house, it's
Yeah.
that blue salt box house, you can see them.
Number on that, it's 20 across from you, right?
Lorraine, who got iced in, is 60.
That was 20.
60.
60,
The
okay.
guys with the. To look it up.
Is it the one,
30?
that side of your house or closer towards?
Coming into Shannon Park, let's go like three to the.
Gonna be down into the 40s.
Yeah, like something
Yeah.
48 maybe, so yeah, so I was thinking if you could ditch one side, maybe you could ditch the other side. I don't know if it's called ditching, but whatever. Fires, and she was highly concerned about what fires are happening, New York, Pennsylvania. Thinking about in terms of fires, and I said, yes, natural disaster preparedness is kind of a new focus for us, and we'll let you talk about that more in the comp plan.
So the whole concept behind it, the boulevard that comes up Beckett Way is that's two means of egress, right? That was a was become blocked by a car across the road, they could still have that side.
You and I talked about
Yeah.
that the other day.
Really the village should. Units? 20 units has a second means of egress because of the situations that you just brought up.
But I guess she's also. It's gonna burn, like, there's drought, we have drought conditions. And just as a village, and I told her about Siren, and that. And we don't have our own fire department, but I'm just raising in fire.
We do have our own
safety,
fire department.
Our own.
Right on Oakcrest.
Yeah. For the village.
I told her that.
Yep.
I said that is who would come, and they're close by, they're not village employees,
Right.
is what I told her.
Yeah.
But.
But we're gonna have a burn ban. I think
Yeah,
it's
we're late, I was just
Yeah.
gonna bring up like this.
Yeah, 16th.
Okay.
16th.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's-
Ronnie, more for Greenway, but, we've talked back and forth about maybe Shannon Park having some playground structures.
Right.
I am so jealous. For kids to play with. The whole neighborhood, I think you guys know this, 11 houses sold last year. We had 11,
Wow.
we have 11 new residents, and they're all family. Actually do want to use Shannon Park more like a park, it would maybe necessary, and you and I talked about putting in something in the past, and I think. But.
Right, and the reason, one of the problems with that is that a lot of the equipment, you have to have a specific amount. If it's a municipal or a government-owned playground or park, if you have equipment, you have to have X number of feet depending upon
ones in. It wasn't like a big,
Do you see what that was, though? That's not the nicest lot in Shannon Park. Or dedicate something back to the village, they took the worst spot.
Yeah.
And they give it to the village.
Yeah.
So it has a lot of roll to it, you
Yeah.
know what I mean?
what I'm hearing.
That's what we need to know, you
It's
know?
worthwhile to investigate if there's people always inventing new.
I don't see an issue with something small, I think there's probably enough spots up there, but if you're looking at a fairly large half
The whole park.
yeah, half of the
Yeah, I was
structure
thinking
itself
of above.
on the out perimeter.
It's not a problem to research more and see if we can come up with something.
Fires, lights.
What might have, back to the water issue, and I've had a couple complaints that I've had to go were about having the backyard so wet all the time. When Shannon Park was designed, water pond that we go to. If you take a look at that, we have no easement for any of the, where the water runs down through. I noticed when I was back down in there, that you had a lot of growth in there that may have slowed pond quick enough, so it may be just settling there more and dispersing into people's basements. It's just a theory, but
No,
if the water has.
But if you look at the topo on that, the trough for the creek is substantially lower than the houses, lawn.
Right.
You know, if you're 8 feet below the lawns, you're typically below the basement. One thing that people really need to be cautious of is, I mean, if they happen to stumble across one, put a stake next to it and just maintain it, because those are vital to the drainage of your house. She had some water seeping up in her basement, and we walked out back, and you could see the trench, and we suspect we found the come in and dig in the drain and extending it out. But, you know, the grass comes up, you start to build leaves that pile up with basements. The other 10% is people put gutters in their perimeter drain, and that's the worst thing you could do, because the leaves get in the gutter.
Changes property owners, the new owners don't know a thing about it, so
Yeah.
maybe that's not the case, but that.
Oh, that is true, though. 11 houses. About it. I was explaining to him, I would love to meet with him if I was buying his house, just so I could pick his brains about if there's any issues.
Anyway, thanks for,
I'll do
sounds like
that.
almost everything can be addressed, so I appreciate that.
Thanks, Gil.
Yeah, I got the 3 items, you know, down, and
Is that our responsibility? Or
no, it's not. It was part of their lighting plan that they revised.
It's a condition.
Is it a condition in there?
Yeah, and Beth has
Captured that.
promised me that their person's coming over there.
And we marked it.
Hey, you mark.
That everybody's kind of wanted. Susan Blario, I think is her name. Wanted it, and we can't do that. Mike and I have been on email correspondence several times on it. So, cool, thank you.
and actually, back to 6 Bellwood. We were the original owners. And, 2000. Is that about right? Yeah. No, it was built in 1990. So, and it didn't as settling as more parking. The mall over time, the sump pump ran all the time. And that property
Yeah.
that's flooded was wet.
Yeah, well, you're saying it's not new, which is actually good news.
Well, I mean, it's not new. And so I drove around the perimeter, and I'm thinking, holy smokes, look at this.
It's awful condition.
There,
Yeah.
so it's completely changed. I mean, it used to be just all behind. Well, dumping and what do we call that, the drainage. It's many feet high.
To get the mall to clean the drainage swale between the berm and their on Shannon Park in its entirety. I mean, it's all conveying now to the south, out to the retention ponds. This is the edge of their property, out to the 13 corridor. So we've done a lot to try to fix the problems.
What about, Parks retention pond, or no?
It's gonna be in April and May.
Will it flow faster then, if it's?
No, it's just gonna be able to hold more water. That
But it's not
retention pond uphill, it's gonna affect everything down in Cedar,
Okay,
down in that way.
okay, all right, well, that's good.
I was gonna suggest, for our website and our spring newsletter that discusses what property owners should do around their property if they seem to be. That we could write and say, check your perimeter for these drains, and keep the drains clear, and if your basement is flooding, this to get the help before the damage is done, that type of thing.
Yeah, no, I think it's beneficial.
Do we have a potential source for that type of, you think?
Water systems are designed to keep water from running off so quickly and for us to absorb, but I would imagine, I'm not an engineer, but form small little ponds or bogs or whatnot. With the cleaning out of the pond, I sort of this. Yeah.
It'll definitely let the bottom, say, so many feet up from the channels drain faster, which that can have in a snowmobile. Where you live down to that pond, you're driving up a pretty good grade on both sides, Beckett and Wedgewood. So, I mean, definitely. On your map, would you?
And remember when we had the issue, it flooded down into Cedar Lane? And wasn't there somebody?
Yes, and she told us not to remove it and this and that, and we never did anything, and I don't know if they're too happy with how we. Hollow decorating or something for Cedar. They have the sign there now, Catherine. right
on
on
the
the
right,
front,
oh, down.
It's only partway down, so it's
Right at the first bend.
the second house.
Yeah, they have some landscaping.
So that whole area, there are so many underground streams that were covered up when the mall. Any development, everything slopes west. So, and anything that impinges on the wetlands, whether, Tompkins County wetland map. I'm curious, how many stormwater retention ponds are maintained by the village for?
2, 3, 4, 5.
5 are village,
Yeah, 5 are village owned.
and how many?
It's not that I disagree with you, the underground infrastructure, the underground trench, it's so much deeper than the parking lot. If you stand on a parking lot, it's 15, 25 feet down.
Yeah.
And it never
So-
used,
The bottom of Shannon Park area up to.
Really?
Like where
51?
Carolyn was, 51 feet elevation change. That's,
what'd you say?
That's why you can't teach a little kid to bike ride in Shannon Park.
You teach them how to walk uphill.
we had 2 parents, one on the other. Anyway, I really feel like we've done a lot of drainage help in the village in general, and especially down in there, so. Back up there because that pipe that they had in the mall was collapsed, so it come in there and that path was the raceway for the water. In a sense, it took ownership of that path area, placed a huge pipe in between to convey one water from the north side to the south side. A lot of engineering, several meetings with Brent and Donnie over this to try to protect the residents of the village. So that's all I really have. Any more questions on that?
Anything we can do about the potholes, especially on the Route 13 side of that?
Yeah.
There's nothing
That's
we
mall
can
property.
do.
Don't
Because
drive that
this is
way.
the complaints I'm hearing.
Well, can't they,
Yeah.
coal patch that
They
one
did,
spot?
Yeah, they did.
The crater.
Yeah.
Well, you just don't drive that way. I don't understand why people complain. What?
That's true. Here, it's true.
We used to cheat, we used to go down Catherwood because you could salt it one way, if it was just salting, go down. I don't even go that way anymore, it's so rough, I'll take the time to turn around. No,
Well, anyway, I mean.
Thank you.
yeah.
Different route?
I thought we were gonna get a lot better care of the mall with the ECCR agreement when it was subdivided. Like a homeowners association on an ECCR agreement, and to me, it didn't help the situation.
I'll look into it, there's something that can be done.
Thank you.
And along that line, I was curious why side of the mall, and people can't get there safely. Anyway.
Yeah, they're paving which I think is gonna incorporate at least 2 boulevards to get into the parking lot, nothing around the Loop Road, which that's.
Well, no, I'm not gonna go out there shovel it, but I can, there's a way of
With a hammer?
letting them know, let's put it that way.
Let's move along.
Yeah.
Are there any more questions or concerns for John? I just. Wiring is going along. I appreciate the work on that. Northwoods and the Warren intersection lighting, is there any?
Contacted and gotten a price on a directional drill instead of ripping all the asphalt up. And we called it a dig safe.
Okay.
That's the path of least resistance. We got a wonderful price on it. You couldn't even cut the blacktop for what he gave us a price for directional drill. But the problem is, guys.
That's what that was doing.
Yeah.
What did we call it? Wasn't wayfaring signs, what did you call those?
Chevron signs.
Chevrons.
Yeah. You remember the.
Yeah, my question was, and I noticed the time I drove in the UK is that you could tell by the number of chevrons.
And lighted ones in West Virginia, that's in Europe now.
Yeah.
Just, you can wink and nod. Okay. All right, Chris.
Trying to burn off some time while the weather's. 9 minutes snowfalls we get.
Yeah, little things.
Yep.
Anything else? Nick? Yeah,
Cleaned up the equipment hopefully for the last time.
it'd be nice. How's our salt doing?
Good, we were thinking about. That salt shed going through the summer.
Okay. We're on the budget on salt?
I think we're over budget on salt.
I'm sure we are.
Yeah.
We hammered it.
It's one of these years.
Budget, and then we never heard anything from Cargill, and we're like, maybe they're not gonna make us take it, so we kind of run with not have.
Eventually. Anything else for Chris, Nick, or John?
We have included a resolution to appoint trustees to the Climate Smart Communities Task Force. New York State requires that we also appoint a coordinator. Is preliminarily responsible for any documentation submitted to our CSC application. A resolution to appoint a climate smart city coordinator. So we want to pass that resolution to appoint Ron.
I move.
I'll second.
I thought Susan did
Oh,
already.
never mind.
Oh, it doesn't matter.
Light coming from over there, I can't see. Started about 5 years ago. I just never realized the original assignment was for 1 year only. And so I've been doing it illegally. Every year. And this is a little bit longer. I think we're trying to skip this year, but if we ever need to change the coordinator for some reason, we can. We just have been forgetting to do that in the organization. It's not a matter, it's just a formal requirement. Community or municipality kind of be the overseer of documentation, and if they have, someone has a question, they Concerns or questions about it? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you all.
Only change was increasing the mayor's salary by $2,000 and an increase in appropriated fund balance by $2,000 to balance it out. I just gave to everyone, and so you'll see there changes to the budget are in yellow, which is just the 2,000. To review and just make sure everything's ready, because I wanted to make sure this was the final budget, since I'm not going to be here on Monday. Time for the next 3 months for New York State retirement, because it has, that's how they come up with how much credit you get. It doesn't matter to you, but the next, you just need to keep a log of how much time you spend and turn it into me, and then I send it to New York State retirement.
Let me make a note of that. And
And what you're doing.
daily, a daily type thing?
Yeah.
Okay,
If you're
great.
working on Village Business Daily,
I
yes.
can do that.
Yep.
Well, that's what I was picturing.
But that's not a problem.
Yeah. So just to review, confirmed 122,000 for the sidewalk project. He said that's a standard 15% of a project estimate for engineering. Buying the excavator instead, because the truck's not coming, and putting the truck in next year. I just confirmed with Ronnie that that was fine, and I told
It's here before that. Horizontal.
yeah.
So just to back up, so the excavator is a go?
We had
Yep.
budgeted for this current year that we're in now.
Yep.
And it's not gonna be, he doesn't think it's gonna be here for at least 10 months. So plan, it's not in stone.
Absolutely.
So it just works better for him to go ahead and get that ordered with finances and stuff. For a 9055.83, for long-term disability, it's currently a maximum of 50,000, which is less than anybody makes. So he's getting us a proposal for 100,000.
The one bill for the village or individual? Is that
That's monthly.
the monthly for the
For the village.
The village pays out?
Yeah. Then under 9060.8, you talked about increasing retirees from 2,400 to 4. Update the employee manual, and if we do 4,000 amount, we do really need to consider that because it only allows, it says in our handbook, 60%. We looked at sales tax because they said it was gonna go down, but we just left it at that amount. Month, and it was the highest February ever, so I don't know why they're predicting that our sales tax is going down.
But it's just from the, just warning all the municipalities and government counties to be aware that there's a good possibility it's going to fall.
Yeah, well, I think we're,
Hopefully.
a 3989, which is the beautification, Ronnie was able to submit, and they accepted. And you get to F, why money is transferred to reserve usually at the end of the year, and that's just so that you have the working capital. Kind of dicey in the water fund. If I would transfer it over, we would never be able to pay our contractors before, so, because you just. Oh, I did, after Wolfgang had said something about Borg Warner, I did a little research into that, which is it's 47,000, but then again, the town of Lansing, if we're increasing their maintenance, each other out. Same thing, a new agreement is drawn up for connection fees. Have we heard any?
No. Roth, supervisor of the town, asked if we could postpone it a month. This is their month for really getting all of the capital projects. Our proposals, I think specifically it was related to the participating in the designs. They wanted to discuss that internally. And I sent you an email earlier this meeting, so.
I sent you one too, about Borg Warner's contact.
So, yeah, that discussion will happen in April, but that's the only progress I've seen.
Road, or up here, they start 3 houses. Are we gonna make them get sewer permits? I mean, you know.
The Young's plan all along, and I happened to talk to Mike Mosley again last week, and, well, we want to sit down and talk. It's like, I said, but you do that, then if we have any recommendations, you can't keep going, but back to the drawing board.
Right.
You know?
And you think Mike or just you and Brent need to sit in on that meeting?
It's today.
Oh, it's today?
Yeah, they're already having it today. Today
And this brings up another question. What happens when they put in a design that we don't agree with? What can we do?
And I said, look, I mean, I have the backing of the village board. If they don't reduce the size of the main to up to through the flow meter and back up to the next manhole be 8-inch. That way, if they get a blockage that slows down, still thinks that they want to take sewer all the way up to Asbury Road and all this other stuff. I don't see that for 50 years.
Right.
There's one place you can do that, or roads. Sewer is not that way. I mean, you can't like make it enormous and then that is, the town has no funding, and it's not gonna be done by a developer. That's the ticket you have to keep in your mind. When a developer comes, it's costing him more money for future expansion up the road. That future expansion up the road, you have to redistrict it. There's no more developers. That they can fall back on and foot the bill.
And the capacity of an 8-inch right?
Yes. Oh, yes.
So they would have to expand more than 10 times for that line not to be practical for future.
They don't have, they had a hard time affording the, paying for the flow meter that went on Horizon Drive. They didn't have the extra money because they're the time. And I don't know how they would ever pay for an expansion up in Asbury and those complexes up in there.
Well, this was. What I mentioned in the first meeting is that if you put in a smaller line, it's more affordable for the developer and it's still big enough. What is questionable about that? It still works, it's to cost you less money, it can be put in it's quicker. Discussion is, except they don't like outside influence. That's my opinion.
How they bill for sewer, because they charge everybody the same amount no matter their usage.
So,
And I've gone over that with the clerk's office. That's why I'm saying I would like to have that conversation with her.
I mentioned,
Catching up.
I mentioned that they have to talk to Jody about how we bill. They said, oh, well, how they got it, it works for them. Well, it doesn't work for them because they have nothing in reserve.
Right.
So they need to sit down with her and figure this out.
And I'm putting together my agenda, remind me to put that topic on
Okay.
there. And it becomes a formal point of discussion that's in. We're begging them to let us help them, but so far, okay, I'm sorry.
That's fine. So I think that's.
Application was written though, so
Which one was that? I talked about-
basically if they don't adhere to that. Maybe
I have
formalize
expressed
in
it.
writing.
A dozen times,
Right.
but nothing in writing.
In writing might be good.
Because I don't dare to.
Why not?
We may have to get Natalie and
Well,
word it properly.
Well, okay,
Make it
then I will
invisible.
get together and we'll send something.
concerned about this forever, and now we need an
Well, they're
answer.
not listening to us.
I know that. I believe you.
Dave, it's just like, I don't know, they're like, it's not, there's chemistry not.
They're happy to have it, the town is happy to have it happen, and something's,
Let me just. Supposed to be expanded up to the rink in Lake Shore, Lake Watch Development, is that right? East Shore Circle. East Shore Circle, Lake Watch Development. That's why we put a 12-inch in. They don't need 12-inch to take up the Asbury, that's all I have.
okay, I got it.
Safeguard attorney advises us to do a local law to override the tax levy, which you all have here. So, because allow the override of tax levy limit established in general municipal law 3C.
And we would. Correct.
Yes, for
April,
April
I'm sorry, April.
7th at 7:35. And this will be what, a consolidated, how did you put that? Because remember how we had 7:35, 7:40, 7:45, 7:50 for public hearing?
We could just say.
Or just put them all at 7:35,
We'll start all.
7:36,
All of
7:37.
our public meetings, public hearings will start at 7:30. So if people come to the meetings, they may have to sit through one or two other public hearings meetings. So
Yeah.
I
Yes,
Okay,
okay.
so this will be done.
This is to set a public hearing for April 7th at 7:35.
I will move that we set a public 2025 to allow the override of the tax levy limits established in general municipal law 3 All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And are we ready to approve the vouchers?
Number 257, covert security system, it said first payment, 1360.
Yeah, that. It's double, I think it's only half of it.
Oh, this is the first step, so this is
Yeah.
like a down
Yeah,
payment.
we have
for
to down
cars.
payment, so they do it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Half of that would be the installation cost. Okay,
Yep.
good, thank you.
Yep.
One other question, number 285, $8,200.
No,
Okay, so it's.
It
just
failed, so we have to
failed.
replace it. So what will happen is we'll
That was my question.
have to transfer from.
We have the money, it's just
Yeah.
wasn't a budget line.
It was
It
in,
wasn't a plan for replacement,
No.
it was an emergency.
We had this,
the 60,
Okay,
yeah,
it's all right, not a big deal.
yeah.
You gotta have it.
It's our domestic hot water for the shop side, and it's the more,
And like gun going off in there?
yeah, our other one there, these guys are working in there and it lit up and it goes boom, and they all drop.
The customers from one of them dropped that to the ground, like,
Yeah, so good thing they were there and it didn't burn the building up.
Sure.
So,
Yeah.
Okay. The vouchers or the invoices? I will move that we approve the. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Okay.
and I think that's all I got.
Okay.
On next week,
Enjoy.
thank you. Going to 85-degree weather.
don't take this wrong way, but I hope it snows.
It won't.
You with spring newsletter articles, Jody sent out an email to, so be sure putting your articles together.
No, not this coming Monday, the next Monday.
I mentioned something in there about the houses that you mentioned earlier. Or
Add it
something.
to your brains, yeah,
Yeah,
that's a good idea.
Yeah, if we, I have websites that kind of have a boilerplate type description, but
to be honest with you, I think you could go into some real, like on what to look for on first time
Okay.
homeowners.
I'll do that, and if I find something, I'll send it to you.
Yeah, please,
Yeah,
thank you.
I can do that. We'll put something. Carolyn, you had a lot to say, John, do you have any more?
No, that's it.
Susan?
No. I don't mean Shannon, well, it's Shannon Park, East Point, and the issues. And now I get the 12-inch line. Watch. No, I didn't have that in my head.
Okay, yeah.
Or somehow I missed that piece through the plan.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Nothing else, Susan?
Oh, no, except planning board? Periodically. So if you listen to the, because you do the minutes, right?
Microphones speak, if you speak into the microphone, they won't go out, but if you turn your head, it does.
Oh,
Well, whatever.
If you're,
Recently,
oh, so it was something else then?
yeah, so it was, I thought it was me on my end until Carla emailed me, but of course I didn't pay.
They're supposed to keep their microphone about here.
Ah.
And they'll turn their head and say something, and turn their head and say something, and come back, and it sounds like.
Well, anyway, just,
Anyway, so yeah, if it's a technical problem, I haven't noticed it, when I go back and watch your videos.
meeting,
Curious. Okay.
because it's never happened in all the meetings, planning board or otherwise. I thought it was an East Point thing, or my computer.
no, other people complained that they couldn't, that the audio was,
Contingency plan,
I'm watching the light on the microphone. That one,
because Lorraine,
this one's not.
I mentioned it to Lorraine.
Are unplugged. All right.
Well, whatever it was, I knew that, and if it had been a presentation,
Yeah.
which was equally as important, but anyway.
Okay, I'll make a note. Okay. All right, Wolfgang.
JYC, there is a village resident. His name is Joshua Chahani. So he was sitting in the meeting on Tuesday and expressed some interest. So he's just living down, I think, at the border between Cayuga Heights and the village.
He wants to be our representative.
Representative, or whether we don't, then he is at large member. They need new members anyway, so
Right.
I think it.
Right, and we can appoint, we probably can appoint more than one. We try to have a trustee on that board, on that. For most of those, I think that both of the JYC and Youth Services Board, which has changed their name, and a trustee and a community representative.
He could be a community representative or a large member, so.
Can you spell his last? John. Okay.
Johnny. His first name is Joshua.
Yeah. Usually they just fill out their form and then they usually forward it to me, or they may be giving it to you at the next meeting, I don't know.
They are looking constantly for him.
And I think that the county has something that they have to fill out.
Yeah, they do.
A firm, yeah, it's like a.
So,
Anything else?
no.
Kathleen?
just a request for
Copy of what resolutions, this one?
well,
I
the
just
waste
gave you?
management one,
They're all on the minutes.
7125.
They're all in the minutes.
Copy where you just certify. Similar to,
When you send it to the state.
Oh, you
Yeah.
need one for just
Right,
for that. It's a certified document, certified
Thank you.
resolution,
or a
What?
coordinator.
Oh,
Yeah, or basically any of the resolutions related to the CSC.
you're not gonna get it.
So basically
just
for
can't leave.
resolutions that are CSC related.
Yeah.
Do we
Do you want
have
me to
to-
send it to you, or?
Yeah. If I receive one and you're not copied.
Well, it could go to Jerry as the CEC.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jerry gets it. Thanks, Jerry. Anything else, Kevin? Okay, for my comments. Postpone the meeting, and John, do you want to stay around for a second and talk about?
Sure.
And that's all I have for today.
You know, I think we need to pass a resolution to, yeah, we do it every year.
Okay. Then I will move,
Just for R, we have to do it.
we have to do it. I will move a resolution to set this year's Village of Lansing
General.
election, general, for April 22nd. Noon.
Here at the Village Community Room.
And at the Village Community Room, okay. So time, location, date. Susan seconds. All those in favor of setting the election, say aye. Aye. I move that we adjourn. Kathleen seconds. All those in favor, say aye. Aye.